In the previous episode 1, we analyzed the secret behind lag. We learned that lag creates a massive difference in club head speed. In this video, we'll analyze the explosive acceleration that occurs during the release phase after the lag is completed. Using Tiger Woods' driver swing footage and a ball speed of 80 meters per second as the reference point, we performed a mathematical analysis. Before diving into the numbers, let's briefly review the P system, the standardized sequence of golf swing positions. P1 address. P2 takeaway when the shaft becomes parallel to the ground. P3 half backswing when the shaft becomes vertical. P4 top of the backswing. P5 early downswing when the lead arm becomes parallel to the ground again. P6 mid downswing when the shaft once again becomes parallel to the ground. P7 impact. P8 end of release when the shaft becomes parallel to the ground after impact. P9 finish. In today's analysis, we will focus specifically on the segment from P6 shaft parallel during downswing to P7 impact, examining the speed and kinetic energy of the hands and the club head. At P4, the top of the backswing, the speed and kinetic energy of both the hands and the club head are zero. As the downswing begins, the hands accelerate at 35 meters per second, and the club head at 96 meters per second. By the time we reach P6, where lag is fully maintained, hand speed 8 meters per second, club head speed 22 meters per second. At P6, the release begins. The arm's kinetic energy and wrist torque start contributing to club head acceleration. From P6 to P7, the hand acceleration becomes zero, while the club head is accelerated at 799 meters per second. Thus, at impact P7, hand speed remains 8 meters per second. Club head speed jumps to 53 meters per second, a 32 meters per second increase. This means the P6-P7 segment is entirely focused on accelerating the club head, not the hands. The formula for kinetic energy is kinetic energy equals 1/2 multiplied by mass multiplied by velocity squared. Units kilogram meter squared per second squared, also called joules. Kinetic energy increases proportionally with the mass and with the velocity squared. Effective arm mass 6 kilograms. Club head mass 0.2 kilograms. Shaft mass is excluded. At P6, hand kinetic energy, 1/2 multiplied by 6 kilograms multiplied by 8 meters per second squared, 188 joules. Club head kinetic energy, 1/2 multiplied by 0.2 kilograms multiplied by 22 meters per second squared, 47 joules. At P7, hand kinetic energy 188 joules. Club head kinetic energy, 1/2 multiplied by 0.2 kilograms multiplied by 53 meters per second squared, 284 joules. Increase from P6 to P7. Hand kinetic energy no change. Club head kinetic energy increases from 47 joules to 284 joules, which is an increase of 137 joules. Where does the extra 137 joules come from? Acceleration. The kinetic energy is proportional to the square of the velocity. Velocity increases because of acceleration, and acceleration is the critical factor. If the hands simply free rotate without involvement between P6 and P7, the club head speed would be 22 meters per second, not 53 meters per second. To reach 53 meters per second, the stored energy ground reaction force, lower body rotation, upper body rotation, shoulders, arms, and wrist torque must all be transferred to the club head. Even though hand acceleration is zero, the arm acceleration accumulated before P6 must still be transferred through the wrists. In fact, the arm acceleration you applied up to the P6 position must also be transferred through the wrists to the club head for the club head speed to increase. Since the hand speed remains constant from P6 to P7, the 188 joules of kinetic energy stored in the hands at P6 is carried unchanged all the way to impact at P7. However, the acceleration you've built up through P6 must be transferred and converted into acceleration of the club head. From there, the energy generated by the lower body rotation, the upper body rotation, the shoulders, the arms, and finally the wrists must all be delivered through the wrists to the club head. Only when the wrist force is added on top of all these sources of energy can maximum clubhead speed be achieved. Should you relax the wrists? Some golfers ask, should I relax my wrists completely? In a double pendulum system. In accordance with the law of conservation of energy and Newton's third law of action and reaction. Accelerating the lower pendulum causes a reaction that rotates the upper pendulum in the opposite direction. Just like in zero gravity, where moving your feet forward pushes your hips backward. This means, clubhead acceleration produces arm deceleration. If the wrists are completely relaxed, the clubhead loses acceleration. At P6, the horizontal speeds of the hands and clubhead are both 7 meters per second. If the hands decelerate, the clubhead's horizontal speed also decreases. If the wrists rotate freely with no involvement, the body's stored energy will never reach the clubhead. Therefore, in a real swing, the hands must maintain speed without decelerating. Ground reaction force, lower body rotation, upper body rotation, shoulder energy, arm energy, and wrist torque must all be delivered through the wrists. Only then can the clubhead kinetic energy increase from 47 joules to 284 joules. Another physical principle you need to know, which was briefly mentioned in episode 1, is that with equal rotational speed, a longer radius produces a proportionally faster linear speed at the end. Distance from body center to clubhead. At P6 1.6 meters. At P7 1.8 meters. A 13% increase. Maintaining wrist cock until P6 keeps the radius short. Releasing the wrists at P6 extends the radius, increasing clubhead speed by roughly 13%. Even without increasing arm rotation speed. Summary. At P6, hand speed 8 meters per second. Clubhead speed 22 meters per second. Clubhead kinetic energy 47 joules. At P7, hand speed 8 meters per second. Clubhead speed 53 meters per second. Clubhead kinetic energy 284 joules. Most of the clubhead speed increase happens between P6 and P7. This does not happen automatically. It requires transferring ground reaction force, lower body rotation, upper body rotation, shoulder energy, arm energy, wrist torque into the clubhead. Conclusion. Lag is essential. Everything in this video depends on maintaining proper lag. The key is how much energy you produce and how efficiently you deliver it to the clubhead. These skills must be learned through proper technique and instruction. Although this analysis is based on video timing measurements and may include small approximations, the core concepts remain accurate. Each golfer must adjust these principles to match their physical abilities. In the next video, we'll analyze whether ground reaction force is being applied correctly. And we'll also take a closer look at lower body and upper body rotation. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.